This is the beginning of our 30-day series, full 30-day diabetes diet and lifestyle plan, 30 episodes, 30 days. Each day brings you 3 balanced meals, essential physical activity, and 1 important insight about hidden deficiencies and conditions that directly influence blood sugar. If you are joining us in the middle, I strongly recommend starting from day 1 and watching the series in order. This is not random advice. It is a therapeutic path, structured, reliable, evidence-based. That is how hundreds of my patients every year achieve remission of type 2 diabetes. And now you can walk the same path. Blood sugar is not just a number, it is your future. Today, on day 1, we begin with a simple but powerful plan: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We will talk about what happens inside your body after each meal, the mistakes millions make, and the discoveries from the most authoritative scientific journals. Breakfast: omelette with vegetables and greens. Today I recommend an omelette made from 2 eggs, fresh spinach, and broccoli, cooked with just a teaspoon of olive oil. Ingredients: 2 eggs, 50 grams of spinach, 50 grams of broccoli, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, a pinch of salt, parsley or dill if desired. Preparation: beat the eggs, add finely chopped spinach and broccoli. Pour into a lightly greased skillet, cook for 3 to 4 minutes until soft. Nutrients per portion, about 200 grams. 300 kilocalories, 22 grams of protein. 18 grams of fat, about 5 grams saturated. 4 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram fiber, half a gram sugars. Comparison with a typical mistake. Most people begin their day with cereal and milk. It looks healthy, but 1 serving of cereal with milk contains around 50 grams of carbohydrates, equal to 10 teaspoons of sugar. This floods your body with glucose, insulin spikes, and 2 hours later you are hungry again. That cycle drives insulin resistance and fatty liver disease. What happens in the body? Protein from eggs slows digestion, fiber from vegetables slows glucose absorption, no glucose surge, no insulin storm, your liver is calm, your blood vessels are not injured by a sugar wave. Scientific evidence. In 2015, Diabetes Care published a study comparing a high-carbohydrate breakfast with a high-protein breakfast. Among people with type 2 diabetes, blood sugar after the protein-rich breakfast was 35% lower and insulin rose far more gently. Case study. In a Canadian cohort study with more than 400 participants, those who replaced cereal and bread with protein-rich breakfasts lowered their average hemoglobin A1C by 0.6% in 3 months. That is nearly the same effect as first-line metformin therapy, but achieved through food alone. Micro-conclusion: an omelette with vegetables is not just breakfast. It is a shield against morning sugar attacks. Alternative: replace 1 egg with extra egg whites. Fat decreases by 5 grams, protein increases by 4 grams. Lower calories, same stability. Lunch: steamed chicken breast with vegetables. Today I recommend chicken breast, steamed, served with cauliflower and zucchini. Ingredients: 150 grams of chicken breast, 100 grams of cauliflower, 100 grams of zucchini lemon juice, a pinch of salt. Preparation: steam the chicken breast for 15 to 20 minutes. Steam the vegetables. Serve with a splash of lemon juice. Nutrients per portion: 250 grams, 300 kilocalories, 50 grams of protein, 7.5 grams of fat, 10 grams of carbohydrates, 5 grams fiber, less than 2 grams sugars. Comparison with a typical mistake: many people eat pasta or rice with bread at lunch. A single serving contains 60 to 70 grams of carbohydrates, equal to a can of soda. This drives blood sugar up by 5 to 8 millimoles per liter, and the liver turns excess glucose into fat. What happens in the body? Protein provides satiety, fiber slows absorption, the pancreas does not get overloaded, inflammation inside the vessels does not rise, and the liver is spared from fat buildup. Scientific evidence. In 2018, the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology published a review showing that raising protein intake to 25 to 30% of daily calories lowered hemoglobin A1C by about 0.5%. Case study. In China, more than 2,000 patients with type 2 diabetes were followed. Those who ate more protein and fewer refined carbohydrates had a 30% lower risk of developing diabetic kidney disease over 10 years. Micro-conclusion: steamed chicken with vegetables is not a boring diet lunch. It is protection for your kidneys and a step toward remission. Alternative: bake the chicken breast in the oven with herbs. Taste is richer, nutrition nearly identical. Dinner: baked salmon with broccoli. Today, I recommend salmon fillet baked in the oven with broccoli. Ingredients: 180 grams of salmon, 150 grams of broccoli, lemon juice, pinch of salt. Preparation: season the salmon with lemon juice and salt. Bake at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Add broccoli for the last 7 minutes. Nutrients per portion: 220 grams, 440 kilocalories, 42 grams of protein, 28 grams of fat, 3 grams omega-3, 5 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams fiber, 1 gram sugars. Comparison with a typical mistake: fried potatoes with bread at dinner contain 80 grams of carbohydrates, equal to 16 teaspoons of sugar. Blood sugar remains high throughout the night, the pancreas never rests, and blood vessels silently suffer. What happens in the body? Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation, lower triglycerides, and protect the liver. Protein satisfies, broccoli fiber supports healthy gut microbiota. Scientific evidence. In 2020, JAMA Internal Medicine reported that people who ate fish rich in omega-3 at least twice per week had a 16% lower risk of cardiovascular complications. Case study. In Finland, a study of more than 3,000 adults found that regular fish consumption lowered triglycerides by 15 to 20% in 6 months. Micro conclusion. Baked salmon with broccoli is more than dinner. It is overnight protection from sugar spikes and vessel inflammation. Alternative: mackerel or sardines. Less expensive but equally rich in omega-3. Physical activity today: add cardio. It may be walking or cycling. Choose what is safe and available to you. Aim for at least 60 minutes in the morning and 60 minutes in the evening. A 2021 Cochrane review showed that regular aerobic exercise reduced hemoglobin A1C by an average of 0.7%, comparable to medication. Bonus block: omega-3. In 2018, Cochrane reviewed randomized trials and found that 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 daily lowered triglycerides and reduced inflammation. In 2020, JAMA Internal Medicine confirmed fish intake twice weekly lowered the risk of heart attack and stroke. Safe supplementation: 1,000 milligrams per day, long-term, if no contraindications. If you have heart disease, liver disease, or take anticoagulants, always consult your physician before starting. Conclusion. Day 1 is complete. 3 meals, structured physical activity, and knowledge about omega-3. This is your first step toward remission. Do not stop. Watch the entire series. And if you joined later, go back to day 1 and follow in order. Share this video with a friend or family member living with diabetes or prediabetes. For them, this may prevent blindness, dialysis, or a heart attack. Subscribe, like, and comment on what foods you want me to cover next. Tomorrow is day 2, a new plan, new activity, and another essential insight.